In 1985, ADR was included in the Family Court Ordinance keeping mediation provisions. In the year 2000, with Mr. Justice late lamented Mustafa Kamal Sir at the helm, pilot courts were established exclusively for disposing family cases through mediation that received tremendous success. This encouraged the amendment of the Code of Civil Procedure incorporating mediation provisions in 2003 via the Section 89. Problems and shortcomings, of course, are there. Unfortunately, response from the lawyers, the litigants, and other stakeholders were slow. And the downward trend has remained until perhaps the pandemic realization. Additionally, there is prevailing adversarial mindset and widespread pro-litigation culture. I would say poor knowledge of ADR of all parties concerned, lack of encouragement from the advocates, tendency to harass the other party through a court battle, lack of publicity, lack of training to attain expertise in ADR are also among the reasons highlighted for the scarcity of its success. Now, hopefully, there are now some very encouraging signs of improvement and increased level of awareness. Having said all this, we have ADR included in different statutes, which can be explained in three ways. There is extrajudicial or community-based initiatives, ADR in quasi-formal systems, and finally, ADR in the formal legal system. Among the numerous statutes where ADR provisions are incorporated, we have the Income Tax, VAT, Customs Acts, the Muslim Family Law Ordinance, then the Legal Aid Rules and the Acts, the Arbitration Act, the Money Loan Recovery Act, we have the Village Courts Act, the Labor Act, also Real Estate Management Act, Public Procurement Rules. Now, it's not possible for us to go through all these acts and sections. However, ADR under CPC, I would say, is one of the most prominent provisions which is included in our law. It defines, for example, mediation as a flexible, informal, non-binding process which is confidential, non-adversarial, and consensual dispute resolution process in which the mediator shall facilitate compromise of disputes in the suit between the parties. As per Section 89, the court may adjourn the hearing, pass an order to mediate in order to settle the dispute, or refer it to pleaders or to a mediator from the panel for undertaking efforts for settlement through mediation. The word may was replaced by shall in 2012. However, the aforesaid panel of mediators may consist of qualified mediators prepared by the district judge in consultation with the president of the District Bar Association under the relevant provisions of CPC, and very significantly, no appeal or revision shall lie against any order or decree passed by the court in pursuance of the settlement through mediation under the section, which will lower the pressure on the courts. So, ADR has not been widely introduced in criminal justice system. However, even there is a quasi-formal ADR for less serious crime as to compounding offenses under Section 345 of the CRPC. Now, other than that, Village Courts Act and I said the Labor Act are all functioning in their respective perspective. Now, I would shed a few lights on the overall mediation sector scenario in Bangladesh. Mediation, as I've said, is a peacemaking method of dispute resolution. It is flexible, wholly party controlled. The solution comes from the parties themselves, and when both parties mutually agree, a mediated settlement agreement can be drafted that is enforceable and challenged on very narrow grounds. So these features of mediation has made it very popular across the globe, especially for small claim dispute settlements, but unlike Bangladesh, where we have been quite slow to pick this up. So as I've said, that the lack of awareness, ineffective use of Section 89, absence of sanctions for unreasonably refusing ADR, I think are the key causes. This is where we all believe that the role of training and spreading awareness about mediation becomes so important. In this context, we must say that the recent Supreme Court circular dating 21st March is like the light at the end of the tunnel and could not have come at a better time. This circular by our Supreme Court on the enforcement of the mandatory mediation provisions in the CPC and other statutes is much commendable. Much credit must be given for the efforts undertaken by the Committee on Judicial Reforms for promoting the importance of mediation in the dispensation of justice. The highlight of the circular is that if there are any problems with the implementation, or if any judge even is reluctant to follow the guidelines as stated, the concerned authority will be required to notify the Supreme Court of the same. Our Honorable Supreme Court, it has reiterated in that circular the need to comply with the relevant area provisions in the various statutes, expressing its concerns for persistent failure to do so till late. Some recommendations, I believe that the Bangladesh may consider implementing its own mediation regime like the Mediation Act, as has been done in Singapore. We can be proactive in that manner. In that way, we can have domestic mediation, international commercial mediation. At the same time, I would urge that we should also consider signing and ratifying the Singapore Convention on Mediation entered in 2019, where cross-border mediated settlements are being enforced through the member states. This did wonder for arbitration via New York Convention in 1958. So this is something I think it's the order of the day. I believe that our lawmakers and stakeholders should also consider changing relevant laws, amending the laws, and particularly the proper terminology for the role played by the dispute management experts must be explained. For example, the Shalish Tribunal in Muslim Family Law Ordinance is confusing. The Power of Attorney Act 2012, along with the Real Estate Management Act 2010, has conflicting ADR provisions, which has led to a number of unnecessary prolonged disputes. So having said that, I believe that we are developing by leaps and bounds. We have many leading projects like the construction of the Padma Bridge, metro rail, power plants, and for all these projects, international transactions and trades are growing immensely in Bangladesh. So ratification of international conventions, making this more popular, would go a long way to put us on the map in the proper perspective. I would also urge that ADR clause be drafted in every commercial and relevant contracts. When the pandemic hit, among other affected sectors, the setback faced by our RMG sector was of paramount significance. Major brands and retailers refused payment to factories worldwide for about 40 billion worth of completed goods. Data from the BGMEA had showed at one stage we had more than 1,150 factories with order cancellations since the virus outbreak. For the greater interest of our economy, the interest of both the garment sector and the banking industry must be protected. Mandatory, well-structured, negotiated provisions of ADR clauses into all commercial contracts can help resolve business disputes expeditiously, which is the need of the hour. And obviously, this would in turn lessen much burden on the courts. More trainings and workshops collaborating legal professionals and entrepreneurs should be conducted so that awareness can be built at a pre-contract negotiation stage and adequate protection can be taken. As an educationist, I would also urge teaching and promoting ADR at the university level more intensively. This would also mean that there will be an increased skilled mediators and conciliators, since the norm is that people get familiarized with ADR at a later point. This mindset must change, and the young professionals must advise their client that court should be the last resort, not the first resort. And I would say that pre-litigation mediation should be made mandatory for recovering the non-performing loans. Why go for mediation after the case has been filed and not before? Therefore, aggressive training, more publicity, and more awareness creating events across the country should be the order of the day. A brief few points about arbitration, which is perhaps the most popular method of ADR, violated the Arbitration Act 2001, which is largely based on the ancestral model law, having also taken its roots from the English and Indian Arbitration Acts. Now, despite adhering to the essential doctrine of modernization, Bangladesh still has a long way to go, and there are lots of challenges in the way that needs attention. For example, when it comes to interim relief, one of the contentious issues that has surfaced on the applicability and scope of the Arbitration Act 2001 to a foreign seated arbitration when the arbitration is taking place outside Bangladesh. Until recently, our high courts reached, the different benches of our high court division reached conflicting conclusions while interpreting Section 3, while one line of cases saying that this should not be applicable to foreign state arbitration, whereas opposing line of cases saying, no, we can apply. Now, having said that, recently in a case where the case called the Project Builders, it stated, nowhere the problem as stark as in the case of Bangladesh Courts Authority to rule on interim measures of protection when the arbitration is seated abroad. So His Lordship Justice Refat Ahmed addressed this point in the Project Builders case. However, in a number of cases, starting with the Sada Solar Power judgment, with the author judge, respected Justice Sarkar is here with us today, our High Court division has opted for a more consistent pro-arbitration purposive approach, taking the view that in none of the previous cases, the applicability of Section 7A was directly an issue, and a plain reading of Section 7A would show that Section 3 did not oust our jurisdiction of the courts and the provision dealing with the scope and applicability of the Act. Hence, our courts can come to the aid of an arbitration by granting interim relief, which is foreign seated, which is much welcome, but perhaps there would be a more certainty if an approval comes from our highest court or the lawmakers as such. Now, to wrap up, I must say that arbitration has become a costly process. There is no time binding issue there. Often parties are complaining of complexity, delay. Therefore, more clarity, more training is needed. Perhaps we can amend our act looking at the Indian acts, like having a time frame for the fast track arbitration, and also depending on the financial claim, and putting it in a time frame which would actually help all the stakeholders as relevant. And at the same time, I think institutional arbitration should be promoted. We have BIAC and few other institutes trying their best to make it popular. However, we all have a long way to go because the parties are yet not very comfortable with the institutional rules and norms.